Hello, my favorite YouTube peeps. Well, we're back with another robot vacuum review. This is the Laresar L6 Pro. Yes, it looks like every other robot vacuum I reviewed. Yeah, it seems like they never changed, but the L6 Pro has 3,000 pascals of suction, has the usual 3 hours of runtime, and you also have wide mopping. So let's go and find out what the L6 Pro is all about. So thankfully, over the years, they have evolved, they've gotten smarter, they've gotten faster, they add more features, and yes, the price has gone down. So maybe now it's time to buy your very first robot vacuum, but you have a couple questions before you pull the trigger. Most of you guys know about the Roombas, and they seem to be leading the pack in terms of self-emptying robot vacuums, but the L6 Pro can hold its own despite being about half the price. Now, with a lot of these robot vacuums, this is a two-in-one. You got mopping, you got vacuuming. Also, you have the ability to shut off the vacuum motor, so if you don't want to vacuum up all the rice. So this particular model does have wide mopping. I'm pretty sure companies could add an update and offer wide mopping in all their models, but for some reason they decide not to. Now, I especially like wide mopping just because it allows it to cover the area more than once, but the downside is it uses more water, and it's really designed for the smaller areas since it runs out of water fairly quickly. Well, wouldn't it be nice just to have the ability to just press the fast forward button and have the robot vacuum go faster? Well, unfortunately, we live in the real world, but there is an option. You actually have the ability just to do regular mopping where it does the same vacuum and mopping pattern. So if you have a larger area or you don't necessarily want to change out the water tank, that's a great option. Okay, so some of these robot vacuums come with a two-in-one dust tank, meaning that they provide the dustbin and the water tank all in one unit. Now, I have mixed feelings about that. On one hand, I like the fact that it's all in one, so it really makes it easy to clean, just have to worry about one unit, and the fact that if you ever have issues with the water pump, you just have to replace the dustbin, not the entire robot itself. Now, on the flip side, if you're trying to clean and you just want to rinse out everything, you have to be careful not to get those charging contacts or the entire unit submerged because there is some electronics in there. Me personally, I prefer the separate design where you have a fresh water tank in the rear here, and if you open up the lid, you got a separate dustbin. Now, the dustbin on the Roblox is a little bit smaller than on the L6 Pro. Now, I was talking to a coworker the other day, and for some reason, we got on the topic of vacuum cleaners. Not sure how that came to be, but basically, he said that he saw my YouTube channel and he was definitely interested in buying a real vacuum cleaner. Now, the reason why he was interested was he's usually at work or he's usually outdoors, not really home, so he wanted a machine that would maintain the dust and debris off his floors. Now, this is what makes these robot vacuums so great, is that's what they're designed for. They're called maintenance cleaners, or that's how I refer to them. So instead of replacing your upright vacuum or your stick vacuum, they're designed to go out daily or maybe every other day to maintain the dirt off your floors. Now, with these robot vacuums, they have a lot of features, but just from my personal experience, some of these features are kind of, you don't really need them. For example, the front-facing camera. The optical avoidance might be a little more conservative and not actually have the robot vacuum go through the chair leg. It would just kind of gently go around it. Now, in some cases, I prefer the robot vacuum to physically go up to an object and clean around it than trying to leave some space to avoid any tangles. Now, my recommendation, as always, is to pick up the area as much as possible. Pick the area from shoestrings, power cables, or anything where you may think the robot vacuum might get caught up on. The L6 Pro does not have a front-facing camera, but you can see it does a pretty good job navigating the chair leg, being able to gently bump into it without knocking over the upside down bottle. And yes, it's a little more aggressive, so it was able to clean in between the chair legs. Okay, so it looks like the J7 decided to go off on a tangent, go somewhere else to clean, whereas the L6 Pro was able to stay within the area. So that's the difference between this camera-based navigating robot, the J7, versus this LiDAR-based system. Usually, just from my personal testings, LiDAR systems tend to do better and they have a better job being able to track where they are. It looks like the J7 took a while to figure out that it wasn't able to clean over there, so it went back to the main cleaning area. So if you're looking for a robot that has better cleaning algorithms, I definitely would recommend one that uses LiDAR. Competition is good and there's a lot of manufacturers out there trying to compete with your business. So it's good to see that the price is being driven down and you you typically get the same features on more expensive models like smart mapping, being able to tell the robot vacuum to clean a specific area. You also have scheduling, and you can see this robot vacuum can still handle a pretty messy area without getting hung up. The L6 Pro comes in two variations. You could buy it with the self-emptying bin, or you could buy it as a standalone unit. Now, if you have a larger home and there's a lot of activity, maybe you got people running through the house, kids, pets, you could see that there's a lot of dirt and debris that gets tracked into the home. And having the convenience of a self-emptying robot definitely makes sure you don't have to empty out the dustbin every 1 or 2 days. Okay, so let's talk about some of the pros and cons. Let's start with the negative. Now, one of the things is with the application, even though there's a lot of great features and it worked for the most part, I noticed that there's some kind of glitches, it slowed down a bit, or some of the features just didn't work. You had to press it a few times. Now, I thought this was just my personal experience, but I noticed on Amazon's reviews on the site, they had similar issues. So maybe down the road, the company can help improve the app, update it, but that's just something I noticed. Now, like what I said with a lot of these robots, the side brush still spins a little too quickly. Maybe they can slow that down as well. Okay, so the next negative I noticed is with the 2-in-1 dustbin. You may notice this little lip around the edge there. Yeah, unfortunately, some dirt and debris can get caught in there. So if you're emptying out the dustbin by hand, you can't close the lid. So make sure that's completely clean before trying to close the lid. Now for what I like, I think the self-emptying system works pretty good and should be able to keep up with the day-to-day tasks. Also, the vacuum itself is a very similar design to more popular models, so the design works, and I like the fact that the LiDAR navigation is pretty rock solid. I was able to save multiple maps. So the interface is pretty clean. I like the fact that you do have a pin to go feature, so you could drop a pin and the robot vacuum will just clean that area. It's like a 1.5 by 1.5 meters squared, so it's nice if you have maybe some mess under the table legs or near the doggy bowls. You can just clean that area. Okay, I think you guys got enough of me talking, so thank you so much for watching this video, and you guys are awesome, my subscribers, my viewers. And if you have any questions about any robot vacuum, let me know down in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Alright, have a great rest of your day. You guys be safe out there. I'll see you guys next time.